If you could please silence your phones and devices and the voices in your head.
Well,
I make no
2 out of 3 ain't
I
bad.
make no promises.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna do a group photo at the end, so you can't leave. Huh?
You say off my end?
Again,
We're hotel
you're
1
why
million
we
cups.
can't have nice things.
You can never leave, right?
I am your nice.
What about
You are the
Rupert's?
nice thing.
What about Rupert's voice? His is outside of his head.
We won't talk about those.
Those are different voices.
Yeah.
All right, welcome everybody. Very glad that you're all here. Here comes Peter,
Yay, now we can stop.
hopping down the button. No, wait. Wrong Peter.
Stop.
We would like to welcome from 1 Million Cups headquarters, Kenzie Fitzpatrick, who is in this picture serving our AI generated coffee. So if you haven't signed in already, we've got the QR codes around, but I'm going to give this to Kenzie, and she's going to give us a quick overview of 1 Million Cups.
Good morning, Orlando. Good morning to here. This is awesome to see the new venue. So I am representative of Kaufman Foundation, the Southeast Regional Rep. So I oversee all these Southeast communities. Orlando's rocking, you guys. So I say this out of love, is I haven't had to or need to come visit you all because you show up every single week. You have entrepreneurs presenting every single week. This community is fantastic. So if you don't know about the Kaufman Foundation 1 Million Cups, you probably all do, but we are all about community, education, and entrepreneurship. And has anyone been to the Kaufman Foundation in the room? Ooh, do you know about it?
No.
Okay. They do some incredible things. Obviously, they're out of Kansas City, and they do a lot of support for education and entrepreneurship. But Ewing Marion Kaufman made a huge impact. You know, there's a lot of people that he saw that didn't have access to entrepreneurship. There were barriers to entrepreneurship. I was speaking with the guys last night, and Josh actually corrected me, is a lot of people are maybe born to an entrepreneurship family, you know, or around it, but their spirits are broken in the education system, and I agree with that. So the Kaufman Foundation is all about lowering barriers to entry and to access and being uncommon, being successful, and taking risks. So, you know the 1MC family. I don't know if you know this. Of course, we're on the Eastern time zone, but there are a ton of communities every Wednesday making an impact in their own communities. They have entrepreneurs present in all industries. That's the cool thing about what we do, is we're not just tech or I don't know, incubators, accelerators, right? We've got food entrepreneurs, we've got artists, we've got authors, just so many different people that we don't think about as entrepreneurs that they need help, right? And they don't know to ask for help, and they don't know the questions to ask for help. So it's a huge impact that we make every single year. And this is our team, plus one more, which I'm very excited about, but there are 6 regional reps all over the country helping support you all. Ola is now our national program lead, and if you all have heard of Fast Track, maybe, with Kaufman Foundation, so that is an amazing entrepreneurship kind of curriculum program that's a little bit more in depth. So if you want to look at Fast Track, you can bring that to your community as well. But Ola oversees that and 1 Million Cups. And we finally got a program director joining our team as well. So Kaufman's really coming back. 1 Million Cups is on our 10-year radar, so we're not going anywhere. But you all know the mission of 1 Million Cups. We're here to lower the barriers of access to education, resources, connection, all of that. You know, if we're all given the same thing, that's not going to help us all out. You know, this person might need this person might need this. We're trying to help people where they're at to get them all to the same level. Come on in. So we have a national and a local mission. So we work towards creating consistent education for each 1MC presenter nationwide. Where that comes from, which I'll talk about our core program, is why when you go to 1 Million Cups, you have the same curriculum, the same 6-minute, 20-minute Q&A, final question. But every community is a little bit unique and different, right? Not everyone's going to be downtown Orlando, right? We've got rural communities, farming communities. So actually, when you can travel and present in different 1 Million Cups locations or go visit them, they are completely different environments, which is really what I like to see. So obviously, this is a safe environment for 1 Million Cups. It's hard to get up here. If you have never been up here in front of an audience, it is so stressful. It is very hard. And great. I love this, but not everybody does, right? Again, I was talking to Josh again last night. He's trying to help these people who've probably never spoken to a crowd, have never expressed their idea, got to do it in 6 minutes, right? And that's even more stressful. And so not every entrepreneur is going to be polished. Not everyone's going to be prepared for that. So we really, really do want them to come up here and struggle, to be honest, right? I don't always want to see the perfect presenter. I want to see the person that has no idea how to get it out, and then they're learning. So I love 1 Million Cups. I've never seen the same presenter twice, which is just amazing. So talking about the vernacular we use and why it's important, we are a 501c3. So a nonprofit can't be basically involved in private investment or helping with sales of specific businesses. And so why that's so important is we use the word presentations, not pitches. Connections, not networking. Obviously, you all are here because of a greater, movement of 1 Million Cups, and we're here to help everyone that is here in the room. So connections are really important. I've never been to a place and been sold or feel like I can't be myself in the room, which is really amazing. I think 1 Million Cups is a lot different than other pitch or startup kind of network organizations. And if you don't know this, 1MC is run by the community for the community. So if all the organizers, I won't say drop dead, but disappear tomorrow, you all know how to run a 1 Million Cups. This is your program. It's your ownership, which is really amazing too. I know I'm kind of speaking to the choir here, but Wednesday mornings, 2 presenters, 1 is great as well. Always having the I would say the businesses that are less than 5 years old. That's our lane, right? There's other programs for people that have been in business for 20 years plus, but here we are here to start the newest entrepreneur. They don't always have to have an LLC or an S corp or whatever started. They can come up here with an idea and be like, "Is this dumb? Do I put all my money into it and all my time and energy?" Right? We want those people too to come here and figure out what should they do. What can we as a community do to help you? That is the most powerful and important question, and that question should bring them back to help the next entrepreneur that presents. That should help them long term. Maybe in 6 months they are like, because I came to 1 Million Cups and this has happened, I learned this or I pivoted this and now I have a successful business, right? You guys don't know how much a little bit of an impact can make just from answering that question, having that entrepreneur share that. So your team of volunteers, students out of love, you don't know that. They're not paid. They're here every single week. They're doing back-end stuff. They're doing coaching. They're doing marketing. They're doing the website stuff, which, I'm sorry guys, is not the best website ever. So just know they are doing this so often for so long. What, 10 years is coming up? It's a pretty big deal. So thank them always. I'm almost done, I promise. But our culture, is a safe and supportive environment, and it's great too to see. Actually, I see a lot of women. I see a lot of diverse people in here. This is amazing. I think Orlando has a really good culture for that, and a really good community. So I want to keep that up. Our presenters, our attendees, our organizers should be very radically and intentionally inclusive of everyone, all ages, all backgrounds. I've seen college students and even high school students come present at 1 Million Cups and be involved. So just think of who we're not thinking of, if that makes sense. So don't forget to apply to present. If you haven't and you fit the criteria for 1 Million Cups, you can apply to present all over the United States of America, or you can go attend 1 Million Cups all over America too. So that's really powerful, is that you have access to this all across the country with, hopefully, fingers crossed, new communities coming soon. So that's all I got. I love the Q&A, but at the end, I'll stay around if you want to chat.
Okay. Thank you, Kenzie. And Kenzie's great, and the overall organization really supports the local groups a lot. If we've got a question, there's channels that we can talk to them, ask them questions, say, hey, we've got an issue with this or that, and they're very responsive. They're very, very helpful. Okay, who is here for the first time today?
Josh.
Josh here for the first time again. We've got a little gift for you. We're going to kind of run through this stuff really a little bit quickly. But if you're here for the first time, please keep your hands up. And Jim's going to get a journal and a pen to you. We are on the socials. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna start. Taryn, 2 questions. 2 questions and 2 questions only that I want you to answer. I want you to tell me, what is your name and how did you hear about us? What is your name and how did you hear about us?
Hi, I'm Karen Brown. I just saw it.
Chuck,
Okay. Yeah, we'll work our way down. Go ahead.
My name is Johnston Jennings. I'm familiar with some of the volunteers like Rupert and Eric. I've seen you guys on social media, and I'm excited about being a part of it and seeing how I can be involved.
Very cool.
Chuck Wood, Kristen Wiley.
Okay, great.
Heard about 1 million cups like years ago, and I finally did.
All right.
I'd also like to say I'm here to support
Yeah.
Arman. I don't see him.
Cool. You came from Plant City? Is that what you said? Oh.
Entrepreneur.
Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone for a first time or your 100th time. We're all very happy to hear. You know, we're on all the socials. Please like and share and do all the social media things. We appreciate that. Our presentations do end up on our YouTube channel. We are recording, and so check that out. It is actually up to date. Yeah. Really quickly, Orlando has a great infrastructure of support organizations. This is but just a few, a smattering, as I like to say. And if you've got any questions about any of the organizations, whether they're in this building or somewhere else throughout the community, go ahead and ask one of us. We have the slide of the organizing committee up. Can everybody with the organizing committee please raise your hand? Okay. We're here to help. We're like the government.
Don't put us in there. Don't put me in there with them.
But seriously, if there's one of these organizations that you'd like to learn more about, get with one of us, and we can help you out there. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the UCF Business Incubator Program, Innovate Orlando, and OMG Labs, which are the primary tenants here in Tech Hub. We're very, very happy to be here. Great space. Anybody that's been with us for a while knows that, you know, it's nice to be in a place. Standing room only was really, really nice. Standing room only in here would be great. So if we can grow up to 120 people, that'd be awesome. But it is wonderful to be in a larger space, and so we thank them. Of course, the coffee and donuts. The coffee is from Soleil Coffee, which is Peter, right here. And Donut Central at Aloma and 436 gives us our donuts every week, and we really, really appreciate that. So if you get a sweet tooth, please run on up to Winter Park and get some donuts from our friends up there. We really appreciate them. We've got Kirkendall Insurance as a sponsor. John Swanson, the real estate detective, he just got here. Where'd John go? There he is. Integrass, Orlandopreneur, which is Rupert, Stoic Dan, and myself as technology. All of our sponsors help put on everything that happens behind the scenes, whether it's buying the swag or paying for things like our social media management system or things like that, you know, getting the coffee and donuts. So we really, really appreciate all of our sponsors. I'm kind of moving through this because we got two really good presentations. Rupert, really quickly, you got 5 seconds?
Entrepreneur, August 19th, Port Orlando, Blue Martini. See you there.
You came in with a second spare. All right, after today's meeting, Stoic Dan is going to be doing little testimonial interviews, little 1-minute pieces. Wherever he ends up is where he's going to be. And we would love to have some testimonials that we can put out on our social media outlets. So if you've got a good feeling about what you see today, or 1 Million Cups Orlando, 1 Million Cups in general, we'd really appreciate a testimonial. Really quickly, if you've been here for 4, 8, or 12 weeks, we've got our cups, these ceramic collectible mugs, or our travel mugs, or our t-shirts. Take a t-shirt. I don't care if you've been here 8 weeks or this is your first week. I don't want these in my house. and apparently we ordered way too many. But that's great. We love that people are wearing them, and seeing them out in the community means that we're getting our name and our reputation out there is good, and that's what we like to see. So if you have been here for 12 weeks, or you ask me really, really nicely, you can probably give you one of these cups. And all right, we'll get one to you, I promise. Really quick thing with our presenters, the Q&A session. Let's be respectful of the presenters and know that this is their time, not your time. we ask that you ask a brief question, one question at a time. I know you're going to have a follow-up, maybe, but allow others to ask questions. We'll get around the room and we'll come back around to you if there's time. But we want to give everybody an opportunity to ask a question. So let's keep it to one question per person. And questions end with a question mark or with your voice going up at the end. And we just ask that you keep your questions brief. If you got a comment or things like that, that's great. But do ask a question. We're here to help the entrepreneurs and make them think. So even if you have a comment, kind of phrase it as, well, what have you thought about this or that sort of thing. And if you have any dialogue that you want to have with them, if you've got a service that you think maybe they could use, have a discussion with them afterwards, not during the Q&A session. And that way we'll get, again, opportunities for other people to ask questions. And with that, we invite Arman and Career Scoop. We don't have a microphone, so
I'll try to
we do, but it kind of doesn't.
So, hello everyone, my name is Arman and I am a high schooler as well as a co-founder of Career Scoops. Career Scoops is the future of career discovery, where we empower focus on what really matters in young adults just like me. So you're probably wondering how a high schooler like me ended up here. Well, I filled out an application and I got accepted. But not just that, obviously. But you see, I'm not a comedian. But so it all started when I was in freshman year of high school, and I looked around me and I noticed a problem in both myself and my peers. We didn't know what we wanted to do in life, and we also knew that when we figured that out, we weren't sure how we were going to properly leverage our skills and unique personality traits to become as career successful as possible. So I brought this problem up to my mom, who is an experienced data scientist and who also has experience in recruiting and hiring across many different career fields, and we came up with a solution. But how do we know that this is a problem that didn't just impact my world? Well, we believe that every young person should have an opportunity to discover a career that leverages their full potential. However, 30% of recent high school graduates are currently not following any educational or career pathway. That's 30% of recent high school graduates that aren't necessarily giving back right now and could be doing something else if they knew what to do. Next, 53% of those that have went to college have switched their major at least 2 times. Now, we're not trying to say that switching your major is a bad thing, but what we are saying is that that's thousands of dollars that may have not been spent if there was a little bit more certainty going into it. And next, half of college graduates that when they get out of college, they work in jobs that don't even require the degree that they just ended up working for. Now, if you had to properly leverage the resources that they just spent years working for, and we believe we can solve this problem. But what exactly is the root of this issue? Well, the world is evolving, so let's look at the problem with focus. In the last couple of years alone, we've seen the rise of AI, we've seen COVID-19, new jobs being created, and in general, an information overload on social media. It's getting to a point where even adults can't focus on what their goals are and how they're going to achieve it. So these people are recently becoming adults, and they need help. They need action plans. And now let's look at quality coaching. We are still using the same career counseling system that has been used for decades, and even some parents have used. How is one career counselor supposed to be updated with all the modern information and help hundreds of students a year with life-changing decisions that they're about to make? And next, exposure. How is one just turning 18 supposed to visualize what actually looks like career success to them at ages 25 to 30, when the most experience they've had in the outside world is most likely just an internship or even just talking to a family member? So that's why we came up with Career Scoops. Career Scoops empowers personalized and actionable career discovery experience. And we do this with an AI career assessment, personalized career recommendations, data-driven actionable insight reports, as well as a suite of active engagement solutions and many other solutions. So let's start off on the AI career assessment. This is more than just a normal career assessment. It is the base for the rest of our solutions, where we get to know what makes you, you. We analyze over 35 career skills, 33 work activities, 16 character traits, and 6 personality traits in a scenario-based data assessment that uses an innovative and proprietary data model. So right after that, we have personalized career recommendations that recommend you to 10 out of over 840 different careers throughout all places in society. So while this might seem like a standard career assessment right now, well, with an interesting scenario-based and proprietary data model, we haven't even gotten to the bread and butter yet, which is our data-driven actionable insight reports. We have this on both an individual level and an aggregate level. So let's start individually. Imagine getting a 20+ page data report on what skills you're good at, what skills you're not so good at, how your personality traits and all of this combine and intertwine with the jobs that you've been matched to, and what you can do today and in the short term and in the midterm and long term to become as successful as possible in each of the 10 different career paths. We outline the best courses of action for you as a person, and it's going to be unique to every single person out there. But we don't just stop there, because for youth serving organizations and institutions, we also offer aggregate reports where we can recommend an institution and show them, hey, these are the group of students that need help with career readiness, or this is how you can help this group of students. These are the general careers that they've been matched to. These are their skills, and these are the skills that they might need help with. Here's how you can leverage the current programs that you're using at your own institution, or we can recommend new programs for them to use at their institution. And this is all on one simple data report, which enables macro and micro analysis. But we don't just stop there. We also have a vast variety suite of active engagement solutions that involve anything from action planning sessions to micro mentorship sessions with someone working in a career path that you're interested in. So these are like just short virtual conversations with someone really passionate about their career and wanting to share their experiences, to even career readiness workshops, and even an AI career companion that we developed on our own that looks at your career profile and tries to answer your questions in the most personalized and actionable way possible. So, how are we empowering youth organizations and educators? Well, we are transforming student outcomes, as well as elevating the effectiveness of guidance services and focusing on the students that need the absolute most help. We are helping understand career readiness on a higher level and implementing actionable recommendations found nowhere else. And what about helping students and parents? Well, we harness tailored insights and we help develop actionable plans and goals, as well as helping them access expert knowledge and guidance as well, while making informed decisions about the future, which supports continuous growth. So what are students saying about us? Well, out of 5 stars, we are 4.97 approved from the students. 9 out of 10 students would recommend our solutions to their peers. And those that have been through the entire Career Scoops curriculum have had a 100% chance of saying that they really liked it and that they've had a positive shift in career certainty. So, one of my favorite parts about Career Scoops is how absolutely anyone can contribute to our mission. Whether you are a student or a young adult that needs help with some career discovery, or honestly not even a young adult, or you are a parent that knows someone that might need career discovery help, or your own child, or you are a professional that wants to give back to the community and join our mentor network and wants to be able to help someone that is in a position that needs help, or you're an investor, we are more than welcome to open conversations with you. Thank you so much.
Okay, I know Kenzie said that presentations don't have to be polished, but
That was polished.
Wow.
wow! You're in high school. All right.
job,
All
Mom.
right. We got some questions. Let's start with Kenny.
How are you making money from this, and how are you measuring success?
So basically, we are on. So you mean like our go-to-market strategy right now? So we're both B2B and B2C, but right now we've realized that reaching out to schools and offering especially those aggregate reports and telling them how to leverage their programs the most, we essentially sell in a plug-and-play solutions, right? So we tell them, hey, here's a couple of solutions that we offer. Now, you're going to need the assessment to access most of these solutions, but afterwards, they can choose which ones of the active engagements they want or which data reports they want, etc. So they all have different pricing points, and I'm sorry, what was your follow-up?
How do you measure success?
Measures of success would just be like how many people are using our platform, how many schools we have, pitch the proposal, stuff like that. So.
Now, with the options they have and great presentation, we were just saying if you had it, Mike, you'd probably never have with the active engagements and workshops, and who would be facilitating that for us?
So some of the active engagements, so the mentorship sessions, they've all been professionals that have been screened, but they can be anyone in this room right now that signed up. For the other stuff like the workshops, that's someone from Career Scoops that's going to be facilitating and running those.
As a parent, can I buy your product?
Like to use yourself or for like a school?
For my children, can I buy it directly or do I have to
Yes.
go through the school system?
Yes, it's just on the website itself.
Does this include blue collar employment?
I believe it includes like everything. Yeah, includes it.
On the user side, what does best course of action mean when you're? Yeah, what does best course of action mean?
So best course of action to us is looking at, because we have like charts. Let me go back. It's gonna be kind of small, but so we have these like stuff, like many graphs that show like what skills you're good at, how your personality traits. Then we tell you why you were matched to specific careers. So best courses of action would be specifically detailed steps on say, okay, you might want to look around your community and search for this type of thing, or you might want to take this course, or make sure you're looking out for this, meet someone, start conversation. It's very specific outline steps, but I can't tell you exactly because it's different for every single career and every single person.
How many schools do you guys have? And have you thought about targeting any other organizations besides schools?
So, yes, we do other organizations other than schools. I can't say the exact number of schools, but we do have some in California, Iowa, Massachusetts, stuff like that. And we work locally as well.
Okay. Aware of the workforce opportunity tax grants that are given out to communities that are outside of schools and looking for those that can't find work in their everyday life?
No.
No, you do.
To follow up on his question, can this be adapted for adults?
I believe so, yeah. Right now, it's adapted specifically for young adults, but I believe at a future point, this can definitely be.
Which is great, by the way. We're very focused on the kids, but I just want to see if there's a next step.
And I'm going to follow up on her question. Have you thought about going to the younger population, like middle school? Yeah.
So.
And the reason why I bring that up is because I feel like the earlier you start to instill these pre-voc and vocational skills, the easier it is for them to transition, into the workforce.
Yeah, so while we can have some middle schoolers using our platform, I think the big thing to keep in mind is that a lot of the action steps that are going to be recommended by the data report, right, they're typically going to say, like, this is for someone that's older. You're not really going to be allowed to do, like, these specific steps when you're just in middle school. It can one day be tailored for middle schoolers, and I feel like they don't really know exactly what themselves are able to accomplish or the recommendations. There's also kind of like a maturity level, but definitely mature middle schoolers can completely do career suits right now.
Pamela, you had? So mentors don't get paid because it's purely out of passion. So we want them to have a position of giving back to the community and not feel like they're also forced to do this as well.
Are any of the outcomes telling them that they should be an entrepreneur, that they should start a business, or is this strictly for women?
I believe so, yeah.
Believe so? No so.
Well, there's over 840 different career paths.
Career path typically doesn't translate into entrepreneurship. It's not always going to say you should probably take your own way, start this, try this. I think that looking at that, I would come back and figure out if that is actually an outcome. It doesn't seem like that.
Just at age 16, he's making such a big difference in the entire world. Education is the most important thing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Josh?
How'd you get the name Career Scoops? You just like ice cream, or is there something?
Okay, so we want this to be a scoop in both yourself, or, when you get the scoop on something, and also we want this to be a scoop into one's future. So that's where we came with that. Yeah.
Do you have data or are you tracking the success of a student who follows your plan? Like, is that part of the market research?
We haven't had this long enough to see just how successful or someone going into school, exiting school, entering this career path. But we do have tracking on the students that have actually done an action step that we've done when we presented it to them, and it's not on here, but we do have a pretty high percentage rate that within the 1 to 3 month period when they complete an action planning session, that they actually do one of the steps.
Okay.
So we do have follow-up sessions and action planning sessions.
And then Spencer, and then now.
So when you get the report, does it show the individual, the economic viability of different options? What ranges would be with the Pacific, or nationwide?
I believe it's their specific market because it's taking in the information on the area that they're currently in. Yeah, so it's when it's recommending the steps, it's about local stuff. So.
About the team and growing and kind of.
Okay, so our team is me as a sales development representative. My mom is a CEO. We have kind of a fragmented technical team right now. They're all throughout the nation. And our next biggest milestone is just having more consistent pipeline going and having
full integration of everything possible, and where we can add new services to the platform in just a snap. So. Right.
Sorry, it took me an hour to get here instead of a half hour in traffic. Did I miss what your monetization is? You charge, how do you make money, and what is your plan?
So we're both B2B and we're B2C, but we're focusing more on the B2B segment right now because a couple months ago we had to actually pivot, and that's where we started thinking of the data report idea. So basically, there's school administrators, youth-serving organizations. They're going to be paying money to either understand how they can improve the career readiness of their institution, or how they can leverage the resources that they currently have as best as possible. Because a lot of students aren't actually using the programs that they're paying for.
So that didn't answer my question at all. Charge money.
So it would be like an administrator at a school, or like a principal or something.
So
it would come out of their fund.
The 17-year-old pays nothing.
Oh, so on a B2C segment, yes, the 17-year-old or their parents can pay money for the program. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention.
So is it like $10, $2,000? Like where is your monetization?
So our monetization, it's a plug and play, so it's each and every solution, right? So for the career assessment and data report alone, it's like around $50, but then all the other solutions are extra on top of the pricing packages. And for schools, it varies on the size of the school.
Who's your number one competitor right now, and how are you going to stay ahead of them?
So our number one competitors right now, so it depends, right? Because Naviance is kind of dominated the nation globally. They are a big education platform, but Zello right now just took over Florida and got Naviance a little bit away from Florida. So basically, these are all competitors that want to help young adults with career readiness. But what we've noticed is that we are the only one that uses this sort of AI data report, actionable and personalization. A lot of these other ones are just a simple career assessment, tells you careers, and gives you archives of information that tell you about the careers. But none of them are actually personalized or actually tell the student what they can do today or is different. Because a lot of students, they already have access to archives of information. They go on Google. They can search stuff up. We want to make sure this is different, and we are very different from the other. Good work, Mary.
So, assuming I am a school administrator, in 10 seconds, give me your value proposition.
So we want to make sure that your resources that you are currently paying for at your school is being used by more than 1% of your students.
How accurate your AI algorithms are?
How accurate? So in terms of like the jobs and stuff, it's coming from a federal database. My mom actually developed the data model. She's right behind me. You can ask her. So she's the expert there.
Would you utilize a company like Click, or what are you thinking as far as the future in helping any organization, whether it's one school or district, to integrate this? Because it's phenomenal, the idea. Like you said, there's always been assessments, but the next steps have always been like to join it everywhere else. And a company like Click could help maybe with bringing it all into one platform.
So what does Click exactly do?
Click, well, Talent became Click, and Click is one of those platforms that takes all your AI, all your widgets, and puts them in one place. Okta does that as well. I don't know if you're familiar with them. You're familiar with Okta? No. so yeah, it's kind of like the Web3 of things, and thinking of the future and how 5 to 10, 15, 20 years are going to look like. So just one of those ideas you may want to think about.
Wayne?
Does it include a personality assessment?
So we do have a personality section of the data report, but it's not going to be as detailed as a whole personality test that you take.
Can you talk a bit about the pivot you mentioned earlier?
Okay, so our original idea for Career Scoops was actually just the virtual mentorship sessions that we had. But what we noticed is that not only is this a lot of dedication, it's kind of hard to coordinate this with a student and a professional that is doing this completely out of their free will constantly as the only thing Career Scoops offers. We wanted this to be a scoop in the professionals' lives, but we realized that with stuff like data reports, this new generation can get in all the information that they ever wanted without that scary interaction with another professional.
Yes. Have you considered working with the Center for Trade Office? Because I don't know if you are aware, but in Europe they do some of the career and schools differently, whereas at a very much earlier time you have to choose your career pathway in school. Right now in France, the move is in middle school. You're going to decide what educational career you want in terms of your career path, what classes you're going to choose. So something like this could be very helpful, and that could be promoted in Europe.
I didn't think about that. Thank you.
How many paid customers and users you have today?
So we have. Okay, so we have 34 schools or 38 schools in the pipeline right now. I can't tell you exactly how many paying customers we have, but we can tell you in a further meeting later if you want to schedule one.
Alex, then Mateus. What's the biggest bottleneck you guys are experiencing right now?
Like a problem with like getting users, or
No, just like what's the biggest challenge you guys are facing? Anything. I'm just curious.
challenge? It's probably that it's kind of hard to reach those administrators and find which ones have the purchasing power. So we found that success in some states completely different than others, right? So Massachusetts actually has a bunch of educational grants that allow us to easily integrate into their schools way more. They have these districts. So our biggest problem, honestly, is just finding the correct schools that are willing to experiment a bit, innovators.
Yeah, we're gonna have 2 more questions and then I'm gonna finish it up.
How does your product roadmap look?
So our roadmap right now is looking at expanding the platform. I already mentioned earlier how we wanted to have an ability where, sort of like a launch pad of solutions. We want to be able to add new solutions right there immediately because we're constantly creating more. I mean, the AI career buddy that we have is a new idea, and we want to basically be able to expand our services to where schools can just purchase our platform and use it. Because right now, it's a little bit more manual. We have to work with them or they can use the solutions. But at one point, we're going to make it completely automatic as well. And eventually, we want to expand maybe a little bit more to the B2C.
And I'm 18 years old and graduating. I get on your platform. Walk me through the steps of what I'm doing.
So the first thing you would be doing is creating an account, and then it would tell you that you can take the career assessment. So then you would go through the scenario-based career assessment, and afterwards you would immediately get your recommendations with your data report available soon if you were to have purchased the price.
And then it says purchase this if you want something more.
Yes.
And then once you complete that, it says purchase this if you want the next
and
step.
then we detail our active engagement solutions later if they're more interested into that, or they can email us and we'll have someone explain more to them each and every solution and how that looks like to them.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. I've got two questions. The first one, you mentioned you're open to investors. A rough kind of, we're talking thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, and what would you do with an investor's money at this stage?
Okay, so for our first round in general, we're looking at 1.5 million, but that's just the first round, right? So what we want to do first with the money is immediately invest it into more of a technical side and make sure everything is as smooth and clean as possible, and also into outreach and social media investment. So we can put more money into marketing because we're not really focusing on that right now, but we think we could reach a way bigger B2C segment and actually hit students that need this the most. But B2B is becoming focused right now. Also, just having a clear pipeline with that money, we can get access to a lot of resources that will allow us to get just a very clear pipeline of customers.
And the big question, what can we, as the Orlando chapter of 1 Million Cups, do for you?
So, I mean, anyone can sign up and be a mentor on the platform. And if someone is going to be interested in pursuing your guys' career path or learning more about you, then you will just get an email and we'll let you know that we can schedule a call with you where you can just talk about your experiences and someone can get the scoop on your life. So that's kind of the main thing.
Fantastic. Anybody not blown away?
I don't think I've ever seen anyone get grilled that hard for that long at that age at any one of the ever. So it's very impressive. Oh my goodness.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, just.
The better the presentation, the better the grilling.
Yes.
Credit goes to mom.
Oh yeah, much credit to Tatiana and what.
Great.
And you're headed over to the. Yes. she has to leave. So there's another event. Lot of things going on, and her presence is required. Is Arman staying? Okay. Oh, he's going. He's welcome to stay with us. We'll take good care of him and grill him with a ton more questions. But we can make sure that you guys have their contact information if you want to get some more questions with them. But they do have to head on. And now, back to follow.
I want to run.
That's a tough follow-up right there.
Luis Garcia with Pete Learning.
Pretty tough, actually. I wanna make sure my time, because otherwise.
I got you.
You got me. I also want to measure it because I want to know when I hit certain points.
Well, when you see flying objects, you'll know.
Exactly. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Really inspiring. Amazing. Good. You can have a career with us. Pretty amazing. All right. So I'm here to represent Pete. Pete stands for Personalized Education, Training, and Enrichment. So another education company today. Scott asked me to come back because we started exactly a year ago. And 1MCHQs was the first place that we went to present our idea. Back then had a different name, and which is very normal in startups. And so it's really great to come back and kind of tell you where we are a year later. So we're founded by Jacques Fu, and a lot of you should be familiar with him. He is a very well-known local entrepreneur here in Orlando. Has several companies he had created and exited. The last company that he was in was Stacks, which became the first and only Orlando-based unicorn. And it's kind of the genesis of the story of why Pete came to be. And he recruited me, and I've been in education and technology for over 25 years. I'm mostly known in Orlando for having been the creator and executive founder of Full Sail University Online, which became one of the fastest online universities in the country. I took it from 0 students to 12,000 degree-seeking students in 5 years, which amounted about $180 million in top-line revenue for the university. And so I've been in education for a very long time. I have run education programs. I have launched courses for many audiences and in the U.S. and abroad. So we came a very perfect blend into bringing this company together. Okay, so the original story. So this is a picture of Stacks at some point when it had about 100 employees. And that company, as it was growing really fast, acquired 4 companies in the last 2 years in the tenure where Jax was there. And I'm bringing 4 new companies and folding into your existing company became a very big challenge of how you onboard all these people and bringing them to the, to their culture, to the product line, everything that had to be associated to folding in companies. So Jacques took it upon himself to say, well, I can create some courses. I'm going to create a department, a center of excellence, if you will, and to try to bring all this together. I'm an expert. I'm a founder of a Stacks. I can have all that expertise. And what he thought was going to be a few weeks of creating courses and delivering them became 5,000 man-hours of work, and to do it right, and a couple of years of work. So when he exited Stacks, later on, he thought maybe there's a better way to do this, and that was the genesis of our company. So what we are is an AI-powered learning platform, and it has 3 main components. The first one is the content creation portion. I've been in digital education long enough to tell you that digital education fixed a lot of things about education, and I brought some new problems to it. And one of the problems is that you have to create materials that are compelling enough that actually can teach by themselves, and without the need of somebody teaching with you, teaching them. And that process of translating your expertise into content, into curriculum, is called instructional design. And usually require an instructional designer to do it for you. And So our first part of the platform automates that process using the power of generative AI. The second component is actual teaching. Those courses have to be hosted somewhere. Learners have to come in, take them, and finish them, and you have to track who learned, who took what. And so we have a learning management system for that. But the third part is the part that I get most excited about, and the reason why I joined, is that digital education didn't really do much to address the problem of assessment. Assessment means, do we know the learner learned? You know, and historically we've done this in classroom by taking tests, which is a horrible thing to test to evaluate learning because it's such an artificial situation. We don't solve problems in the world by not asking anybody. And oh, sorry. So and digital education was even worse. We got multiple choice questions on how we assess learning in digital education. So we have an engine that is able to engage each learner one-on-one and go deeper into the questioning of the material, create situations that they have to react to, and then really assess that against the learning cycles. So those are the three components. Shoot, already it's 5 minutes on. All right, and size of our market, we target specifically companies between 50 and 500 employees, okay? This is very, very important because companies that are smaller than that don't really need a platform like ours, and companies much larger than that have things called training departments that take care of it. And so we target specific companies in a couple of hundred of employees where they have that pain that they have to train, but they don't have the means to have a training department. All right? And how it works, I can explain already how it works, but we take all the materials from whatever knowledge we already have from the company. We ingest that into our engine. The engine is capable of creating all lessons automatically. That includes the content, the notes, the speaker notes, the voice of the trainer. We also synthesize that and clone it, so the lessons are immediately in both spoken and in text. And then we let the platform do the rest. All right. Our milestones, just to close in, we were founded a year ago. We quickly formed a core team of people. A couple of them are here with me today. And so mostly around creating the product. By March, we were second in the Cromer competition. We won $20,000, which is great. And by May, a few months ago, we closed our first seed round of $2 million. And thank you. And today we have about 15 customers, about 15 employees. Also, we have 170,000 ARR on the contract today. We have signed a lot of local companies. We're very proud of Orlando City, Kia Center, Camping World, Addition Financial. We just signed a few weeks ago. We haven't announced it yet. And that's it. Thank you. That was way long.
All right, we'll start with Josh.
Thanks. Is this an IP thing? Do you have IP that's protecting you, or are you going to be first to market, or just a me too? Because it's very tech-based.
Yes.
But what is?
So our platform called Cognition is patent pending right now. We have a provisional patent on it.
Can this be adopted into an app so like people who are in the field are able to do training through like what am I trying to say? In the field, like
yes.
If
so it
in
is.
the field, can they just do it from their phone?
Yes, they do. It is mobile responsive. So in fact, a lot of our customers, right, and have their learners in mobile because they're not access to like in the venues and things like that.
It's as an app, not a website.
It is a web responsive website right now. Yeah.
So, being a learning platform, is there any of the stuff that you're training with these companies that is going to require hands-on, or is it mostly knowledge-based kind of? And what I'm getting at is because I'm working with a company right now that uses virtual heads-up display, and they've been able to cut the training time in the industries they're working with from 9 months to 30 days.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So it's not right now. We don't integrate any of the realities into the training. It's not the hands-on. It's more about a knowledge base.
Okay.
But it's a great place to expand. We're just not focused on that right now.
Matthias and then Rod.
One of your
main competitor right now? I get asked this question a lot, and but you ask it in a very good way because usually it comes in the form of an attack. You got too much competition. How dare you? And so listen, there are corporate learning management systems out there, very well established, and our research shows that large companies use them, and when we talk to large companies, they're very entrenched in them. They don't want to change, and so we don't think that that's our target market. There are also great new products that for individual experts aimed at monetizing their knowledge, like Kajabi, like Teachable, and those are great platforms as well. But we don't find a lot of people trying to do what we do, which is specifically to small and medium-sized businesses without training departments. And so certainly the large LMSs can go down market, and if they want to, or the individual one kind of up market. Neither of them are doing that right now. So I hate to say we don't have competition, but it's there, it's nascent, it can happen, but not a lot of them are doing what we do at the level that we're doing it.
So on your website, you guys have a demo. You don't have any pricing or anything like that.
Right.
So you said that you're focusing on small, medium. What is it for what size of small business? Because is it a solopreneur? Is it 50 to 80 employees? Is that what you consider a small business? What products do you have, and then what is the general price? I know there's very specific on pricing.
Right.
What is this general on the pricing so that a small or medium business?
No. So I'll answer the first question first. The 50 to 500 employees is what we target. We tried solopreneurs at the beginning, really difficult market for us. The pricing is difficult for them. The expectation is huge. They want to sell the courses, and it's just a different business plan. We could do it, but we prefer to focus on folks that have a training need, a budget, and not a training department. And so 50 to 500 pricing. So we've been increasing our prices as we go along, and we started in the hundreds a month. We do yearly contracts, and right now our prices are around $1,500 a month. And sometimes we go down to 1,000, depending on the customer, depending on the budget too. We vary a lot. So once you train the AI to create content, then that same data that we vectorize to create content can be used to access and create questions as well. We have additional tools for that also, that for the simulation engine that will go into the kind of language you want to use and things like that. But it uses the information that is already there vectorized along with the learning outcomes that you defined for it. So the combination of both is what makes the evaluation.
Okay, whoever's beeping, please pay attention to your beep that you're listening for.
That's Denny's.
Can't shut it off. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Gosh.
We're going to speed.
And then Mary.
I don't know if this would apply to the business, but you know how like some employees are required to go get a certificate training or something. Are you doing any of that, or plan to do any of that, and getting like?
So the platform shows you who finishes the courses, things like that. We can put something to download there if you want to.
I meant more of like PMP certification, right? Are you doing any sort of training where like to expand?
So certification is an interesting market. I work a lot on that, and because no one really tells you you're certifying, really you say that this is a certification. So a lot of our customers will say, yeah, well, you're certifying whatever you're doing because they are the authority of the experts on it. And so that's how certifications happen, unless you're talking about academic certifications, which have to have an entity, education entity, a commission guarantees that we are not going after higher education or traditional education at all. And not because a platform cannot do it, it's because it's a very different sell. And I work in higher education 19 years.
Mary?
So no. Yeah.
Thank you.
Who was it?
Mary?
Who's Mary?
It's me.
Okay.
Hi. This is very beautiful. My understanding, this is based on generative AI.
Yes.
So what do you do? How do you deal with the generative AI hallucinations
Uh-huh.
and catastrophic forgetting?
So I have my lead AI engineer right there. I'm gonna let him answer.
So hallucinations are a very difficult problem. You're never going to have everything 100% correct. What we've implemented is we call it like a stop process, right? So it'll generate the course, and then you go in, and that's where like so it's never going from AI straight to customer. The creator is in between.
Human in loop.
Human in loop, exactly.
Yes. Yes. Which is one of our selling points, by the way. And
then Nathan.
Okay.
Try to keep it.
Yes, sir.
You're inside in. You're inside to a business and taking their narrow content and optimizing it for their education within that business.
Yes.
Are you looking at verticals like healthcare, where there's a lot of training and consulting organizations? You think they could benefit from this, and how do you look at that?
Sue them.
Not yet. And yes, exactly. In terms of verticals, it has happened a little organically.
Yeah.
Like we signed up the Orlando Pride. They had a very specific use case. They have 50, 60 employees in that stadium, but on game day they have 200. And those 200 arrive, on the day of the game. Very little training. It's very difficult to access them. They do a one time a year, one training in person, but the audience can change throughout the year. So they needed to create courses quickly, deploy them quickly for that audience. So we became the solution for it. Because we had them, then the city of Orlando, with Orlando Venice, who manages the Kia Center and Camping World, Tom Mother said, we got the same problem. And so we signed them in as well. And so now we're talking to, Amelie in Tampa, and the Seattle Kraken in Seattle, and the Indiana Pacers. A lot of people because of that. And we just signed Addition Financial. Maybe that becomes another one. And credit unions that wants to also come in. So not specifically yet. We've done it out of kind of like. Yes.
Are you aware of states inserting a 10 to 15% sales tax on hosting for video streaming and general hosting services?
Sales tax? No, I'm not aware.
Communication services tax. You should look that up. It's already in Florida right now. It's 10% for what you are talking about.
But we don't stream, so.
You host it though. Imagine you don't sell your software to the entity and then just manage manual updates. You are the one personally hosting on your own grounds.
Right.
So you are hosting, and therefore you are the manager of the stream.
Okay.
So be careful.
So you're telling me that I have to pay 50?
It's happening in a lot of states right now.
All right, thank you. We'll look into that.
It's kind of related, but can the training be downloaded so that you can use all of the functions without being connected to the internet? Yes or no?
The answer is yes, but we don't have that functionality today. Yes.
Rachel, and then Wayne.
My question is piggybacking off of the industry stuff, because like, for instance, I have 3 licenses with the state, and each one requires continuing ed and all these different things, and then there's a lot of steps.
Right.
So when he said nursing and just people in those licensed professions, that's all disconjointed right now.
Right.
So if you did decide a second phase or a different revenue stream, you definitely have an opportunity there, maybe if you're open to that.
Thank you. Yes.
Wayne, and then Paul.
Yeah, it sounds like you're customizing this product to each client, and if that's the case, then like, at what point is your time able at what point do you become profitable? Like, how many?
So we're not customizing the platform to every customer, and but we do build functionality that becomes available to everyone. Each course is customized to the customer, and but that's what the platform does. So we don't think that. I started my career as a programmer. I remember what it was actually customize the product to every customer, and we're definitely not doing that. And in regards of what our break-even, it all depends on how our pricing moves up. And but our estimation is that if we hit our sales target, we should be breaking even by the end of next year.
Does this application fit best for executive training, frontline training, technical training, or is there a certain type of training?
it relates best to?
No, actually, it does not. It's a great solution for process-based training, regulation-based training, and because anywhere where you have a very good input of stuff that is not very consumable as an education material, like a set of regulations or processes and procedures and things like that, that's really good for us because you just take that, you ingest it, and it spits it out as a course. And I would say that those are best use cases. Now, whether that is for a manager, an executive, or a frontline worker, so far we haven't seen a difference.
A lot of proprietary information in there. Is it all kind of turned off from each other, or do you use it to feed back your own model?
So we are using our model does use other models. So it brokers among depending on the task. We do not though train the other models. It's very important for us to keep the information proprietary, and so we don't train the other models, and we don't even train across our own customers either. And the only thing that our action model is training is the best practices for instructional design. And so that's that answer. That actually reminds me that we don't own the content at any point. The input is owned by the company. The output is owned by the company as well.
John?
You don't have competition. I will say that.
Thank you.
You are a niche market. You are playing in the what I call a blue ocean.
Thank you.
It's a niche market. You can come on anywhere you want. I will help you.
You're welcome to come to all my pizzas.
All right. I'm going to argue with that, though. I think your biggest competition is companies just doing it themselves, doing it the way they've always done it.
Yes.
And this is what you're fixing. So, of course, the last question: what can we, as the Orlando chapter of 1 Million Cups, do for you?
You know, we want more customers like everybody else. So anybody that you can think of that has listen, this is a problem that companies just live with, and that they don't think that they can fix. And unless they're very big, like I was in an organization when I started at Fulton University, we were 700 employees. You know, it wasn't until we were 2,000 employees that we actually had a training department, and it was completely inevitable at that point. You had to have it, and Fulton has a training department of 60 people, and plus other smaller ones. So if you know any company that just has this, and there's somebody there, there's someone in that company, if it's growing, really doing the job of a trainer that is not really trained to do. And so if you find that that example, send it our way. We'd love to have it.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank
you. Awesome. And I know there are more questions. It's almost 10 o'clock, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So thank you very much. Please ask them more questions. We want to take a really quick group photo. We can. I'll do that. Hold on, everybody.
Are we staying on our seats?
We're staying on our seats, and
Front, yeah, should be.
let me see if I can do this without getting the projector in. All right. Come on. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1 million cups.
1 million cups.
You got me.
All right.
Or maybe somebody could have just given me.
Contact with Garcia or Arman. Please come see me. She gave me some of her business.
Cool. Party words?
Should we try a group photo down here? That was incredible. That was awesome. Thank you for all the questions too. I think the way you guys managed
You want everybody to?
Yeah, down here.
All right. Everybody.
Yeah.
Or without a selfie.
Okay. Yeah.
It might be all right.
But you guys might be on the website at some point, so like we're gonna send this to copies. I get it every